Hey, welcome in Hustle Shorts. It is Monday, September 11th, 2023. Kelly Stewart here at Kelly in Vegas. Chris Thurston at CT Bets. We're doing the Monday Night Football thing again. Last weekend it went really well. Chris and I got to pat ourselves on the back by basically not making a bet. Crazy to think, but we basically talked ourselves out of not even getting involved in that Nebraska-Colorado game, and that worked out very well for both of us. Shout out to our producer, Joe Ranieri, for giving me that under on Bet on it. Got close there at the end, but didn't end up having to sweat that one at all. CT, 10-1 so far to start college football season. Absolutely been crushing it. Let's recap Saturday and avoiding at least one, if not two games that I'd like to not talk about.
Yeah, Kel, it's been a pretty solid start here for football for me. 10-1 in college. Every single pick I give out on the shows we do together and on Twitter, all documented. And it started on Friday night with Kansas, Kel. I really like that game. That's a team I bet over 5.5 wins. And man, Devin Neal, what a running back he is for the Jayhawks. He ran wild. Daniels, he was excellent. I mean, hell, they returned 91% of their offense. Like, a lot of people thought they were going to suck this year. I didn't see it. I mean, Leopold's a great coach. He's done a great job there. So started off with a win on Friday, and then Saturday was 4-0. Baylor, Iowa, Northwestern, and then Cal in the late night special. So you know what? I don't want to get up here and start pounding my chest. Actually, yes, I do. I'm 10-1 in college football, and it's been a hell of a start. If you're not following me, you're doing something wrong.
There we go. CT and I have a little disagreement on the University of Kansas. I actually just did a little friend bet, with you will, with Coach JB. Listen, the season win total was 5.5, and he touted it on Twitter and said they're going to win 8 games. I had to take the under. I'm sorry. Big 12 play still right around the corner. They are massive favorites this weekend to Nevada, as expected, but I have them slated as only a small favorite in 2 home games in Big 12 play. We'll see how that one ends up panning out. CT Bets Sunday ended about how Saturday did for me. Not ideal, right? So Texas Tech just wanted to throw my computer into my television. And I know you get fired up, but I don't. I try not to get that emotional about games anymore, because if you're betting within your bankroll and all of these other magnitudes, I've convinced myself, you know what, over the long term, I'm going to win. Yeah, I can't win games that end like Texas Tech. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I was texting you, Joe. You guys we did agree on Cal, so we joined in on Cal. But I woke up Sunday morning in a bad mood.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Cal. That Texas Tech game, you had no business losing that game. That's like 1 in a million, right? That's not supposed to happen. You were on the right side the whole game. Texas Tech played great, and you just got unlucky. And that's unfortunately, it's gambling. And you and I talk about this all the time. And yes, I do. I get fired up, and I would have ripped my TV off the wall. But if you can't handle stuff like that, Cal, you and I always say, this business ain't for you. Don't get involved. Do not get involved, because that stuff, unfortunately, is going to happen. And really sorry that happened to you so early in the season, because you had a great play there.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know what? Rice almost blew a 28-point lead. So my elevated anger was already there watching that game. It is so joyous that college football is back. And why I thought week 2 was a really good spot to be finding some of these home underdogs was because of the overreactions, right? And that's what we're going to get in week 2 of NFL. We'll touch on some of that towards the end of the show. Me, CT Bets, Drew Martin Bets. Sounds weird to say. And our good friend Adam Trigger all do a Thursday night version, long extended version with best bets for the week, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. WagerTalk YouTube channel. We jump in there live. So make sure you guys hang out with us there each and every Thursday. But CT, let's recap NFL week 1. I mentioned that I woke up in a bad mood after Texas Tech. I went to the beach. I texted you guys a yoga symbol. You guys would go, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to find some zen in my life. And that zen went away in the fourth quarter of the Colts game. It is what it is. Gardner Minshew in for an injured Anthony Richardson, and wow, terrible play calling on fourth and goal as well. 1 yard line, pretty much, just couldn't get it in to get the cover. And that was really about it. I felt like I knew the Giants was a loser. I mean, I bet it forever ago. I also had a bunch of divisional unders that I didn't give out. I tweeted out, put on Twitter that I was going to be on some of those unders, Chris. And by that point, you're getting 2.5, 3 points off the number. I just don't feel right giving those out. But Giants, I had to own. I played it early. I thought it was the right side, and it wasn't. I should have probably played Dallas money line, tried to hope for a middle. Just absolutely gross. So I want to know what you learned week 1 in NFL.
Yeah, that was a tough one. You and I were actually on the phone yesterday, and you told me you knew the Giants were a loser, and you knew I was on Dallas. I was surprised you didn't come back on Dallas. Usually, that's something you do. But we learned a lot, right? Yesterday, the number one takeaway I took is that, wow, home field advantage isn't as strong as it used to be in the NFL, right? I mean, man, we saw Pittsburgh, they get blown out at home. The Patriots, they lose at home. They actually played a pretty good game. I was actually as a fan pleasantly surprised for the Pats. Colts, that one, we'll talk about that in a second. Vikings, I mean, there was a lot of road teams that won yesterday. Bears, the Packers, I thought I had a great number on the Packers plus 2.5, and I was scared going into that game. And I couldn't tweet that because I bet that months ago, and I didn't want the Twitter police to come at me, when I post Packers plus 2.5. So that was the number one takeaway I had from yesterday. And then the number 2 takeaway, not sure if you caught any of the game, is the Seahawks-Rams game. I learned, man, if you give Matthew Stafford a lot of time, he is going to kill you. And that's what he did. He absolutely carved that defense, the Seattle defense, up, and he didn't have his security blanket, Cooper Kupp. Like, I was really, really surprised with the Rams' performance yesterday. That was a game I was looking at, wanted to play it, didn't play it, and got a little scared off there. But those are my 2 big takeaways from NFL Week 1 yesterday.
Yeah, Marco gave out the Rams one of his better bets on Bet On. I can't remember if it's his best bet or not. Regardless, I played it in one of my contests. As you know, I'm in like a bazillion different either office football pools, Westgate, Circa, all the above. And you got to mix it up, right? Like, so I had my core. I had Browns in every single one. I had Colts in every single one. I had Pats. I had a mixture of Pats, Steelers, which also knew was a loser by the time it kicked off, Rams, and one other. I think it was Giants. It doesn't matter. At this point, I went 2 and 3, 3 and 2 at best in any of those. We got our survivor pick home some way, somehow. And before we went on the air, we were texting the group chat. Like, I just was like, you know what? I just want everything to lose. Just like let it lose, and then I don't have to worry about survivor for the rest of the year. Like, just get this out of my life.
I guess that's takeaway number 3 that you just reminded me about is that, wow, that game was horrible. I can't believe we had to watch that game. The only reason why we did is because we had the commies in Survivor. Cal, takeaway number 3 for me would be that the game has passed Riverboat Ron Rivera by. He was standing there. He had it watching him on the sidelines. It seemed like he had no clue what was going on. Some of the play calling from the commies was horrible. Man, that is 2 very, very bad teams. Glad that we snuck that one out because I don't think we'll be on Arizona at all this year. And we will never, well, obviously we can't be back on the commies, but I'm glad we got them out of the way because we would have never used them the rest of the year.
I'm glad that I did not talk myself into the Vikings. And then Ariel and I, with our friend Pam, had the Ravens. So then, of course, that's in the back of my mind. Like, I knew Ravens, but now, Ravens there's a couple other spots you can use the Ravens this year. So that's nice that you and I at least have that left available. All right, WagerTalk on screen is open. There is a ton of stuff already out for next week, minus FCS pretty much. Came out yesterday afternoon for college football. A lot of NFL pretty much got tweeted out today. We're going to get to some of that at the end of the show, maybe some games Chris and I both have circled looking into this week as possible play-on spots. But first, Chris, let me pull up the Monday Night Football odds. I want to give the most current odds. Currently, WinBet minus 1.5 for Buffalo, DraftKings 2, Circa, and South Point, and Superbook all 2.5. Very interesting because this one crept down to 2 and 1.5 earlier today. Total 47.5 was the opener. I bet under 47 on August 5th. 44.5 is pretty much across the board right now. Is it too late to take the under? Joe gave it out on Bet on It this week on Wednesday. I logged in my account. I go, oh yeah, I already bet this. So luckily I had a good number there. Don't feel that confident in having a good number though. Like lately, I texted you guys yesterday. I had three unders, I had 5 unders. 3 out of 5 of them, I had nice 3-point advantages in. I did go 2 in one of those. The Packers one just got absolutely obliterated because of the Bears defense. But thoughts on the total tonight? Is it too late to bet the under? And who do you like for the side?
You got a great number there. I would be very happy if I had a ticket like that in my pocket. So kudos to you. Nice work. And I do have a play on this game, Kel, and I got a breakdown. So I'll give it out. So I'm about to tweet it after we finish this show. And I'm on the Jets, +2.5 here. And they get a huge upgrade this year with the veteran quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. We all know that. You know, he made the Jets management go out, get some new toys to play with here. He brought his guys over, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, you know, his 2 veteran wideouts who make him very, very comfortable. And yeah, I mean, not to mention Nathaniel Hackett, even though, Cal, you and I know and think he's brain dead, Rodgers has made it very clear that this is his guy. It's his favorite coach he's ever had. And he's going to be calling the plays now for Aaron Rodgers. So that's going to make him a lot more comfortable as well. They went out and they signed the running back free agent Dalvin Cook to help carry the load, as you know, Breece Hall is coming off that injury. So Kel, Rodgers seems like he's pretty comfortable in New York, and he seems dialed in this year and ready to win. And the Jets last year, they somehow win 8 games with Zach Wilson pulling the trigger. They made a lot of changes for the better, you know, not to mention the defense is very good. I think the Bills have some problems, especially on the offensive line. And if they can't protect Josh Allen, they're going to be in some huge, huge trouble here. They didn't make too many changes, but I think a problem that they haven't addressed is not signing another wide receiver. They still need another wideout to go alongside Stephon Diggs. And they don't seem too concerned with it, Kellen. I think that's going to be a really big problem, that Josh Allen cannot rely on Stephon Diggs to make 9-10 catches every single game. Now, I made this game close to a pick, so getting 2.5 here. I think we're getting a little bit of a deal, and I think we just talked about the home crowd, the home field advantage. I think it's going to matter here tonight. I think the Jets fans, right, they're finally have something to be happy about. I think this
they are entirely too happy.
They are, but you know what? Being a Jets fan must really, really suck. Yeah, I can't imagine it. So the Bills have had the Jets number for a really long time. I think it switches tonight. I like the Jets +2.5, and won't be shocked at all if Aaron Rodgers wins his first game in a Jets uniform.
Yeah, I'll give you the long version here of why I'm taking Jets in a teaser. Number 1, I do not have the Bills winning the AFC East. I have the Miami Dolphins. And I also have the Jets under 9.5 wins. So that makes this one a little difficult for me. And that's part of the reason why I don't really like having futures bets. But sometimes those futures bets really pay off. But I try not to let it tarnish me throughout the week, or at least the weeks of betting. 2.5, would love to take the Jets here. I would absolutely love to, but I don't know how much heartache I've got left inside my soul. I did tease them with the Steelers, as I tweeted out yesterday, so that ticket is a loser, but I had also teased them previously with the Browns, so they close out that leg. 2 spots you can tease them with this week. You can tease them with the Eagles down to 1.5, and you can tease them with the San Francisco 49ers down to 2. Those would be my 2 recommendations. You could also tease them up with the Pats on Monday night, but I don't know. Actually, I'm sorry. Is it Monday night? I'm messing up again. Shocker.
Sunday night.
Is it Sunday night? Sorry, Sunday night versus Miami. 2.5. You could tease them up. That being said, I was also looking at maybe teasing up the Steelers on Monday night. That's where my wires got a little crossed there. Apologies. But yeah, Chris, I think that's just the easiest, right? Because I already have a great number on the under. I don't need a ton of action here. And I've already got him to close out the teaser leg. But if you want to hop on a teaser, that is a good one to have. And then our good friend, the prop queen, said to me and our buddy Hakeem, hey, take the under 1.5 touchdown passes for Josh Allen. I said, you know what? These prop bets are fun. I've been jumping on a little bit here and there. I'll jump on with you. Hit Tony Pollard under 71.5 rushing yards last night,
Yeah.
barely by like 1.5 yards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I kind of like this. This is fun. It's not something I've ever handicapped, but if you've got a friend that's good at it, something to tail. So that is what I'm going to be on tonight. I'm going to be on that second leg of the Jets teaser under 47 and Josh Allen under 1.5 touchdown passes. Chris, we got about 5 minutes left here. Just want to remind everybody every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, you can jump in the group chat with me, Drew, Chris, and Trig. Ask us any questions you guys want about games. We go over our big games that we like as well as our best bets. It's called The Hustle. So these are Hustle Shorts. I haven't seen the rest of the schedule for this week, but Mark Zinno, Brian Power, Drew Martin Betts, and Trig will all be taking over a day. This is me and CT's day where we go over some of the early bets that we like. CT, what are you looking at? College football week 3 or NFL week 2?
This is the first week in a really long time that in college football, I can't remember the last time that I haven't made a college football bet on Sunday or Monday yet. But there is 2 games that I'm looking at, Kel, and the first one's Ohio plus 2.5. They're at home playing Iowa State. Iowa State is in kind of shambles right now, and Ohio got their trigger man Curtis Rourke back last week. Got a nice road win over Florida Atlantic. So I'm eyeing that one. And the other game I'm eyeing is Mississippi State plus 10. They're at home versus LSU. And this Mississippi State team, I think it's shocking some people. They're a lot better than a lot of people thought. Had a nice win over Arizona this past weekend. They're 2-0. I think 10 might be a little too many, and 2.5 might be a little too many. The only reason why I haven't pulled the trigger, Kel, is I think I'm only going to get a better number right now. I can't. I mean, the betting public is going to push this up a little bit, and I'm waiting to see if I could get a 3 with Ohio, maybe a 10.5 with Miss State. So those are 2 I'm looking at in college so far.
Yeah, I'm with you on Miss State. I was talking to our friend Mark Zinno, friend of the show, and he said, Cal, I need you to talk me into Mississippi State. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I haven't even talked myself into Mississippi State. Long list, Mark. It's Monday.
Right.
I usually don't put my bets until Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. I got a lot more work to do against LSU, but I do think you mentioned that Arizona game, Chris. I think Mississippi State got caught looking ahead there. I do think they are a better program than the game that they actually played there. We'll see if their defense can't step up here against LSU. Also, a team I played against last week, I mentioned that I was on Rice. Somehow got the outright winner after Houston came roaring back down 28-0. I like Houston here, even though they did end up losing to Rice. That was a valiant comeback. That team did not quit. They're currently catching 7.5 to TCU. Another one I had my eye on was BYU plus 9. As I mentioned, I agree with CT Bets on Mississippi State. Try to look at UNLV there plus the 4. I think I won't ultimately get to the window with them. San Jose State on my long list as well. And one that's going to gross everybody out, Minnesota. I looked at them last night. I said, Minnesota plus 6, up to 7.5 on the WagerTalk odds screen. Pretty gross.
Yeah.
We'll see if I can't talk myself into some of these outright underdog winners come Wednesday. Chris, overreactions, first glance on the lines for Sunday before we let you go.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I really hate myself. I'm looking at the Patriots at Sunday Night Football. I can't believe I'm going to have to bet them. I know you're going to have to bet them as well. But Kel,
I might
they
have to
looked a lot
tease
better
them.
than I thought. They did. They really did. And they had a lot of opportunities to win that game yesterday. And a lot of decisions that I was very shocked with by Bill Belichick. Usually kicks that field goal instead of going for it. And then they still got the ball back with 5 minutes left, and they had a chance to win that game. That's what I'm looking at for Sunday. Kel, I didn't want to forget this, but there's one thing I did want to say. We talked a lot about the Colorado-Nebraska game last week on this show. I think it's very, very important. Myself, you, and Joe Ranieri were talking about this. If you're going to bet a college football game, please don't bet it just because you're looking at the splits and you see, oh my God, the public is all over Colorado. I have to bet Nebraska. It's the sharp side. Hell, if you don't have a handicap and actually know what you're talking about or actually know what's going on in these games and seen these games being played, don't bet the game. It's not going to turn out well. The days of just fading the public and expecting to win, it's over. I'm sorry, it is over. Have a handicap, have a game plan. That's the main reason why you and I did not bet this game, and it saved us some money.
Yes, it did. Listen, it was going to be Nebraska or pass. We said that on the show. It ended up being pass, and Joe Ranieri liked the under, and I said, you know what? I agree with Joe. I like this under too. Uh, about that public, square, sharp, contrarian, whatever. I know that I'm a contrarian by nature, but please remember when I'm betting these games on a Tuesday, the public's not getting involved yet. And just so happened the biggest splits, one in college and one in NFL, I happen to be on the opposite side. Oregon was the most bet tickets for college, or at least percentage wise, it was almost 90%. Same thing with Jags over Indianapolis. Listen, sometimes when you bet subpar teams like the Colts, you're going to get burned. And that's unfortunately what ended up happening there. Jags did not look as good as I thought they
No.
would.
Nope.
And or anybody would. I actually said I didn't think they'd make the playoffs this year. That was my bet I gave out on my 32 NFL videos for Superbook Sports. So I still stand behind that. Unfortunately, the game didn't end the way I wanted it to, but just a little asterisk there because I get a lot of accusations like, oh, she's just fading the public. I'm like, it's pretty hard to fade the public on Monday and Tuesday when you're looking at games. But I agree with you, Chris. The public is getting sharper, and that's because of places like WagerTalk TV.
Correct. And I wouldn't, Kelly, you had a great handicap on Texas Tech and the Colts as well. So it's not like you were just betting splits. You know what you're talking about. I agreed with you on both of those. Still can't believe that Colts. I feel bad that you and I were texting. I said, Gardner's going to punch this in right now. My God, I cannot believe.
And I said, no, he's not. Because I already knew that I was just completely screwed. A couple NFL games before we wrap this up. Seattle was a 2.5-point underdog, now a 6-point underdog at Detroit. That was a really notable line move. Chicago, 1.5-point favorite at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay -3. Those are the two biggest moves so far on the Wager Talk odds screen. I just wanted to get your thoughts on any types of overreactions possibly.
Yeah, overreaction. I talked to a lot of people today that were saying that Tampa Bay is going to be, they're going to be just as good as they were with Brady. Baker Mayfield's the guy. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Baker Mayfield did play a great game yesterday. Baker Mayfield is not Tom Brady. This Bucs team still has a really good roster, but I think that's a little bit of an overreaction there, and we saw that in the line move there. I don't think I'm overreacting. That man, the Bears are not a good football team. Cal, I do not know what all the hype and love for this Bears team was at the beginning of the year. Remember, we did the shows. I said to you guys, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of high on the Packers this year. I think they're going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. And we saw that yesterday. Man, the Packers looked really good, and they were missing some key pieces.
Yeah, no, the Bears looked absolutely atrocious. Made me feel very good about my under 7.5 wins for the season. But I'd be lying if the Bears weren't on my long list for this week. Maybe a little overreaction. Maybe Tampa Bay's not as good as they appeared. At least that O-line is not. But again, Baker's a mobile quarterback. Tom Brady was not. So he's going to be able to kind of escape in some of those situations. I would also say that maybe I should go back and watch that Seattle game. It's not a play against the Lions. The Lions did a decent job at Kansas City. Obviously, Kansas City receivers catch a couple of those balls. Game goes the other way. I don't think that loss to the Rams and that win over the Chiefs equates to a 3.5-point line move.
Sure.
I've got a lot of friends thinking they were going to use Detroit as survivor this week. And I'm thinking I would not be surprised to see Seattle go in there and somehow pull out a win. Obviously, we expected some regression from Seattle. Last year, they really overachieved, as did the Vikings. But your thoughts on this Lions team that got the best of you last Thursday?
Yeah, the Lions looked very good. I was impressed. Dan Campbell has done a really good job, man. That they have a really, really good roster, and that's a great win. I don't even care that the Chiefs were, missing Kelsey. That's still a great win. And Tony can't catch a football like that. You go into Kansas City, into Arrowhead, and you beat the champs, man. You know what? I'll tip my cap to you. That's a nice start to the season for the Lions, and let's see. We'll see what happens this weekend. I'm with you. Probably going to be on Seattle this weekend, but Detroit is impressive.
I'm already sick looking at our survivor sheet, but I will be texting you about that. You guys can be texting with us, so to say. Jump in the group chat with us Thursday live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It is The Hustle with myself, CT Betts, Adam Trigger, and Drew Martin Betts. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on this Monday night, and we'll see you on Thursday.